because nobody does it like us, Shasky. I'll promise you that. I promise you that.
I know we're going to have KC on it in a second, but you had some, just brief, because today is a big day for the Oakland A's fans, and I feel really, really bad for them. And I don't want to take any gleam off of Game 3 and its magnitude and its importance, but you had some brief thoughts about the Oakland A's sending out what they sent out last night at 10:30.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we all knew they were leaving.
Well, for those that maybe just woke up right now
last
on
night,
our Twitter.
Well, I mean, last night in the Las Vegas Review,
a publication,
Las Vegas Review, newspaper in Las Vegas, has some quotes from Dave Kaval, who's running the A's, and basically people in Las Vegas saying the A's bought land on the Strip. They bought land to build a stadium in Las Vegas.
Agreement to buy land.
Agreement to buy land, whatever, however you want to phrase it.
However you want to parse it.
Wherever you want to parse it.
Yeah.
And so now Oakland politicians and the Oakland mayor says, we're no longer negotiating with the Oakland A's. So it all feels all but over. And I kind of knew that anyway. It was just a matter of time. So let's look at the product on the field.
I mean, it's so bad.
John Fisher and what he's done to that organization and to that fan base. I watched that game yesterday against the Chicago Cubs, and I felt depressed. The Cubs were just smacking the ball around the yard. They got a $35 million payroll. And you go look at that clubhouse. I'm like, that's not Major League Club. That's not the majors.
Well, neither is the facility.
The facility, and I've been in that Coliseum, and I've walked in those tunnels, in those locker rooms. It's substandard.
St. Ignatius has better facilities.
There's no doubt they do.
I'm talking about a high school in San Francisco has better facilities than the professional Major League Baseball team, and that's on the owner. That's not on the city.
De La Salle does. I mean, their facilities is a joke.
I'm sick of them scapegoating the community. That's the thing that not just the fans. They're scapegoating the fans, and they're also scapegoating the politicians. Suck. I don't care what. Like this isn't a political show, Bronte. We don't pretend. I hate all politicians. I think they're all frauds. I think they're all phonies. All they care about is getting reelected. That being said, I will go to my dying deathbed saying that we should never, ever be bending over backwards to give public money to private for-profit entities like baseball.
Right.
I don't want Joe's Liquor Store getting a bunch of infrastructure money, on the corner, and I definitely don't want Lou Wolf and John Fisher getting a bunch of handouts from a community that is struggling.
Right.
Have you walked, forget Oakland, have you walked Market Street? Have you been on 66th? Have you ever driven around there? Because I drove by there a couple of weeks back. It is despair. The last thing that our communities need to be worried about is bending over backwards for these for-profit entities that do not care about our communities. All right? Act like a real business and put your money where your mouth is and spend money on your product. Stop looking for handouts from a community that is suffering. I'm so sad. We've turned Oakland into this whole, the John Fisher has turned Oakland. Oh, they're the reason. No, you're the reason.
Well, think about what he did.
You, the owner, you're the reason.
Think about what he did when he gutted the team. He raised season ticket prices.
It's not the fans.
He raised parking prices. He raised everything despite gutting the team and lowering the payroll and not giving a damn about the stadium and saying, we're not investing here. The Howard Terminal, they never were serious with Howard Terminal.
Ever.
They were never serious with Laney College. And we had Dave Kaval on, and we exposed his ass on this show. He's been exposed by numerous people in this market, media members, and poor Casey Pratt from ABC 7 is doing his damn best job to cover this situation, and it's been a joke. It's been a joke. And you know what? Somebody came at me on Twitter. It's like, you're a Giants fan. You probably enjoy this. When I got the 95-7 game,
we were the A's station.
The A's, and I was in the room when the A's did that stupid-ass video saying, it's not us, it's you. When they took our gear and they left. I was here that day, and they said, man, this sucks because I think the engineer was Bobby or whatnot. He would come here, run the games.
He was a good dude.
He was a good dude.
Was it Bobby?
I forget his name.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
But I would go to A's games. I would get tickets, and I went to all those afternoon games, and I had a great time because why? I love baseball. And everybody coming to town, whether it's Boston, New York, the Astros.
You can make an argument they're the second most important franchise historically in the American League. No, in the American League behind the Yankees. You could make that argument. I'm not saying it's true today, but you look at their history. You look at their history of winning. You can't write the history of the American League without the Oakland A's. Keep cooking, though, because I got something to say next.
No doubt. And so when you think about that, and you think about where we come from as a station, having the Oakland A's, and I get the business model, they weren't trying to be successful in terms of having this partnership. And I don't want to go too deep into that. Let me stop right there because I don't want to go too deep into that. But just going to A's games and being around Elena, the Button Vixen, and being around all these A's fans and the pride they took in the A's being successful.
Absolutely.
That was fun. It was a fun, friendly rivalry. And going over to the Coliseum, A's fans are dope. They are really cool. There's some really good A's fans out there, and I feel bad for all of them.
Well,
I feel they are unwatchable. They are unlistenable.
And they're losing their team.
You can't name. They're losing their team again. They already lost the Raiders. And now you're losing the A's.
It's a shame. You're talking about your radio come-ups. My first opportunities, my real first opportunity, not just weekend stuff, was with Chris Townsend at night here with Joe Spadoni. Joe, you're one of the most diehard A's fans and like one of the faces of the A's. And we did all the post games for A's games. I watched every single A's game with that guy. We did all the calls and the same 15 diehards that would call in every single night. I know how loyal this fan base is to this team. Yep. And this owner didn't give two you-know-whats about any one of them.
So you know what?
It's a joke.